Hey team, so in this video I'm going to be sharing how you can build authority on LinkedIn and actually how you can show that and communicate that to your ideal clients. Because if you're someone that's really struggling with being able to get in front of ideal clients and know that what you're sort of creating in terms of content and even outreach, if that is actually working, then this is going to be really useful. So first things first, what I really want you to understand that when we're trying to get in front of the right people and can clearly communicate, like just that we can help these type of people, the first thing I like to really think about is the profile, right? The LinkedIn profile, where traditionally, obviously, this is where everyone's going to come from, right? You know, if you go and say make some content, obviously, I imagine you're probably posting fairly consistently. They're going to go to the profile. If people come across you, say, you know, perhaps even in the messages, then that's a message, by the way. Then they're going to come across to the profile. So you want to make sure that what you got on your profile is really communicating what you have there. So what I'm going to cover is just a few areas, right? There's a lot of things I can talk about the profile, but only a few areas which I really think that matter. So the first thing first is the banner. Now, with the banner, or at least really honestly with the profile, a lot of people put too much of an emphasis on trying to, I suppose, look good, right? They wanna make sure they look good, they stand out, and this isn't the right approach to take. What the better approach to take is to make sure that what you're communicating is clear, right? Because trying to look good often ends up causing problems such as confusion. You have to avoid my terrible handwriting, but it obviously usually causes confusion in terms of what you do, right? So for me, right, if you take a look, say, at my banner and such on LinkedIn, really the core, like it very clearly communicates more about what I do and how they can benefit. So what I like to do in the banner, I like to show that one core result that I can get my ideal clients. So, you know, in my case, this is literally just effectively more revenue, right? Um, I mean, obviously, it's not literally like this, but like the main idea is that hey, it's more revenue for your business. Because what it means is that when someone comes across my profile and they see that I help them get more revenue for their business, if that's something that they resonate with, they know they're in the right place. And this is the whole feeling we're trying to create when they're coming to our profile. If the person that is on our profile feels like they're in the right place and that this sort of area they're at, this person that they're looking at the profile is someone that could help them, that's, you know, like that's a good job in terms of a profile. That's a pretty good job. And that's really all you need. You only need this core result that is in your banner, right? That's literally it. You don't need anything else in there. You don't really need your offer. You don't really need, like, because what I find with the banner, especially, is that less is more. And if you can communicate what you're trying to communicate that's most important in less words and less stuff, that's what mattered the most. Because, for example, if I had some writing up here, some images up here, and some stuff down here, it would take away the focus that the whole more revenue, or at least in this case, that core result brings, right? It would take away the focus. It wouldn't be as clear, which is why I really like to make sure there's less is more on the banner. So the next thing is then the headline. Now I'm gonna draw a bit out here because I've been a bit messy, but the next thing is the headline. Now, then again, the same thing applies here. I really do find that less is more, even with the headline. I find a lot of the times people have all sorts of things in the headline, and it's just this load of nonsense. If I'm honest, some people will have loads of different titles that are completely irrelevant and that their ideal clients do not care about. I see stuff about, hey, I'm a father, you know, I have this role, I have this title, I do this thing, I have this hobby. I've even seen things such as just lots of different like accreditations and qualifications they have. Leave all of that. You don't need any of that. And if for example for the qualification such, just leave that in your experience section, which will be further down anyway. Don't put that in your headline. What I want you to put in your headline is the stuff your ideal clients actually care about, like genuinely care about. Because if you think about it, if you're someone that's, you know, really sort of like hooked on this idea of say having qualification, or at least these things you currently have in your sort of headline, I want you to ask yourself, you know, has it actually been, you know, doing pretty well for you? Is this stuff your audience actually cares about, or is this something you're just putting in for the sake of it? And for example, for me, my headline is very, very to the point. It's quite literally, I help coaches sign clients through LinkedIn. It's very to the point. And I mean, you can do a similar thing where it's literally, I help, and then it's ideal client with, and then you'll have the problem, which will be there, and then through, and then how you do it, right? That's literally it. Because what this does is this very clearly communicates who you help, what you do, and how you do it. Which, if we go back to the whole banner concept up here, the whole concept that we had here, we're trying to give the right impression to our ideal clients that they are in the right place. And this headline is going to absolutely complement it because we're going to call out who we help, what we do, and how we do it. We're going to very clearly communicate that in the headline. And the thing is that this headline here is also going to get shown in your post, right? When your post come across your feed, that's going to be at the top. And you want this to be as short as possible so that this doesn't get cut off. Because if I see a post in the feed, I usually tend to take a glance at the headline, right? Just to see if it's really, how it's relevant to me. And if I can see this whole thing here, this is great because it very quickly tells me, if actually they're relevant to me, if they can help me at all. But if this was cut off and I only knew that they had this title, this role, this accreditation, why would I care? Like I wouldn't. That's the whole point. So this is why the whole idea of the profile, you're trying to just communicate exactly what matters the most. Now, the last thing I will talk about is the featured section. Now, yeah, sure, there is the about section and such, but I genuinely don't think it matters as much as the featured section. So I've seen coaches do quite a few things with the featured section. Some will put links to say booking a call with them. Others might put maybe some videos in there or perhaps links to their website and such. I don't really think this is what should happen, right? Now, honestly speaking, with the profile, you should just have a link in bio, or for me, it's a premium custom button that links them to the one place you want them to go, which in my case is to visit my website because they can immediately book in a call in there and just learn more about me. But for the featured section, what is missing from your profile, right? If you think about what we just talked about right now, we talked about the core result that we can help them get. We talked about who we can help, what we can do, how we do it. The only thing that's missing is the proof of it, right? Where is the proof that we do these things? And so what I like to do in the featured section is I like to like pretty much once a week, right? Because I post about 7 times or minimum 7 times a week. Every week I will post one, like effectively like a social proof form of content where it is sharing or at least it's showing some form of proof. And then it's talking more about how I helped either myself or my client get this result. And that's literally it. And then I feature these posts in my featured section. Because what this does is that this creates this catalog of social proof, right? Where it keeps stacking more and more proof because that means that when an ideal client, right, they've seen the banner, they've seen the headline, they scroll down, immediately they're then met with the featured section which shows the proof of it, right? I mean, if you take a look at my sort of featured section, and you actually click view all, you'll be able to see all of the proof there where I have screenshots of me booking sales calls. I might have like my calendar here or something. But the whole idea here is that I'm not only showing the proof, right? Because you can, I could say to you, hey, I booked 15 sales calls last week. But if I don't show proof of it, you just have no idea, right? Whether you're going to take it for granted or not. But if I show proof of my calendar or of just me booking calls or whatever, then, like it's undeniable, or at least there's more evidence there than not. And so when I am being able to process like proof, which sometimes it isn't just that, sometimes it's screenshots of say client wins and like conversations that they have with me, and so on and so forth. But what it means is that this ultimately shows that, or at least this whole profile, right? Just these three areas has really been able to show clearly the core result I get my clients, who I help, what I do, how I do it, and the undeniable proof that I get results. Simple as that. And honestly speaking, I think if you can communicate this and you can really get this solidified with your profile, you're not going to have a problem in attracting the right ideal clients to what you're doing. Now, There is obviously other aspects in terms of, say, the content you're producing, and even such in terms of the outreach and the people that you're connecting with. Now, it's a whole new conversation. I do actually talk more about this in some of my other videos, and also in my 7-stage LinkedIn Lead Gen Challenge, which you can also join as part of my school community in the description of this video. But this is really what matters with the profile, because if you have this set up, then I find you're not going to have a problem when those idle clients do come to your profile, because they're going to know that you can help them. Then obviously it's a matter of, is your content resonating with them? Are you then messaging the people that say view your profile, connect with you? But like I said, that's a whole new conversation. I do actually cover more of that in my community in the description below as well. But overall, this is the video. So I hope you found this useful. And like I said before, I think that if you can nail this stuff and you can make it very clear in terms of the core result you get, who you help, what you do, how you do it, and showing the proof of it, you're not going to have a problem when it comes to being able to communicate and really show that you help your ideal clients.